various exercises, a few visioning exercises. We talked about, what we know, what we don't know. I want to give you a few examples of some of the folks I coached with, what they came to me with, what they really came to me with, and what we ended up with, right? Okay, and we'll start, and I won't name names because a lot of my clients actually do want to stay anonymous, and I honor that. But I did have a gentleman who was self-employed, and when he came to me, he actually wanted to improve his business. But his first words out of his mouth to me were, "My business is getting me down." I'm like, what? It's getting me down. I'm frustrated. I hate, and he went through everything it takes to be an entrepreneur, and he hated it. Says, okay, so let's first discover why you're in business for yourself to begin with. What are the things that you're trying to achieve? And it took a little bit of discussion. But actually, what was important to him was that he was a success in his dad's eyes. What was important to him was a sense of pride and achievement. What was important to him was that he made money and was successful. He didn't have to be self-employed for any of that stuff. So we talked about what the perfect job would be for him. And so we went through the process of, if you walked into the perfect job, what would the environment look like? What would the desks look like? What would the people look like? And he actually confessed that he could not work in an environment where the women weren't good looking. I said, he said, I'm embarrassed to say that. If that's important, write it down. Okay? List the things that are important to you in whatever it is that you're trying to get to. We had a list: money as well as environment, the type of work that he was looking for, what excites him. He really was an analyst. He loved digging into numbers. And he started looking for a job, revised his resume so that it showed those strengths. And the first job offer that came to him, he called me and he said, I'm turning this down. It doesn't have all of the things that we talked about. I said, I'm very proud of you, because he wasn't doing well and money was tight. But he turned that job down, and within 2 weeks, he had the job that he wanted. And 2 years later now, almost 3, he's still at that job, and he loves his life. Now, money was important to him. So what we did was we set out a financial plan for him and his wife to save money to invest. And they worked together. They had to invest together. That was one of my rules. You do not do this alone. You do this together. So it's a family affair. So what I'm hearing from him now is they are invested in the market. He also plays with sports cars, which is a dream of his. He loves sports cars. And so he buys and refurbishes and sells sports cars as a hobby. But he's addressing that little side job desire of his, and he's got the money and the time to do that. And he's incredibly happy. So not everybody's an entrepreneur. Not everybody owns their small business. Not everybody is cut out for that. But we're all cut out for understanding what your goal is, what it is that you're trying to achieve, and then how that aligns with you, right? This aligned with him. Getting out of self-employment aligned with him. And I had another person who wanted to be an entrepreneur. She happened to be, and her name's not really up here because folks in this room know her, but she's a dancer. She didn't, as much as she wanted to dance, she really wanted to run and own a dance studio. She really wanted to do a few other things. And so we talked about, well, what does that mean? And what is it that you want to do? And why is it that you want to do this? What is it that this sense of being that you get when you get there? What's this sense of being? So some of the things we talked about, what is this thing that you want? What is this joy that you're getting? What is it really that you want to do? And so we kind of got down to describing this sense of fulfillment, the sense of taking something that's not happening and just making it happen. So it's making things happen that was important to her. So it wasn't owning or running a dance studio. It wasn't competing as many of the dancers do. It was really taking something from nothing and making it happen. Didn't matter really what it was. So we identified some of her creativities, and one of them definitely was dancing. The other, believe it or not, is makeup. I mean, she was just amazing with makeup. She could dress you up in cats like that without ever going to school. So she ended up going to school to be a makeup artist. And she combines this dancing skill with the makeup and is incorporating that into her life. And she's making things change, and she is thrilled with the direction that her life is going. So she came to me wanting to run a studio, and she is not running a studio, but she's doing what is important to her and what's making her happy. So what you think might be your goal, if you're not really looking at what is it deep down you want to achieve, you might be off base just a little bit. I have another who wanted to make money, make more money than she was making at the time, and wanted a clientele that was better than the clientele that she was in right now. But that meant letting go of how things are done today. The letting go, folks, is the hardest thing to do. And when I say letting go, it's letting go of the clients who are not in the clientele that you're trying to get with. And these are the people that have built your business for years that you need to say, thank you, goodbye, because you don't fit the bill of where I'm trying to go. And then figuring out where is it that you want to go, who hangs out there, what kind of things do they do, and how do I insert myself into that life in a seamless way. And with a few tweaks, this person has had a very successful year and is now looking at passive income, aren't we, this coming year. And this one here, I actually have a few stories for this woman who wanted to be an actress. So let me tell you how this happened. I get a phone call. Found you on LinkedIn, found you on the internet. I'm really interested in working with you. I hate my life, I hate my job, I hate my husband, hate my kids. I want out, I want to be an actress. I'm like, okay. Let's kind of go back a little bit first before we go there. Now, this woman has 3 kids, a mortgage, a job, so she's not 20, right? And she wants to be an actress. Most people are out of the running by the time they're 22. Okay? So we talked about, first of all, her current job. First of all, I told you, let's settle your private life before we can address your business. So we talked about the job first. What's not working? How can we make this an environment that you are successful in, so you like going to work, so you like making money, so you can focus on something else? Rather than focus on the negative, we need to focus on the positive, right? Turn that life around, be grateful. And well, I will tell you this secret. So one of the things that she felt was disempowered. And so ladies, here's a secret that I share with all of my ladies who feel disempowered. There's a little trick that you can do that creates an energy that no one knows where it's coming from. And so I told this person, and I tell others, to go and buy some sexy underwear, something you would never wear in 1,000 years. Be a garter belt, a corset, or whatever, push-up bra, whatever. And you wear that to work the next day. And what happens when you do that is you have this little secret in your mind. And that energy, remember we talked about energy, goes into the office before you. And no one knows what it is, but they just know that there's this incredible energy occurring. Within 2 weeks, her vice president told her he wanted her to help him create his next empire. She calls this her Wonder Woman outfit, okay? Why not? You never know. It's all about energy. So that was the first thing. The next thing now is the family. So again, those of you who coach with me know that I focus on what I call protected time. So she has 3 kids and a husband. They all needed protected time that was there. Whether it was 1 hour, 2 hours a day, I didn't care. Come to an agreement, and that was theirs. Her son had just her and him, daughter just her and the two of them, her husband. It's just their time and no one else. Her youngest son told her that he loves her coach because she found out he felt that she paid no attention to him. She didn't know that until she had her first protected time with him and they went on a date. So it was incredibly important. The protected time with her husband took some time for them to get to a better state, but it worked. They would go down, she's in Massachusetts, they would go to Salem, they would go just for a walk because they didn't have a lot of money. Just the two of them, so they could talk, so they could reconnect, so they could rekindle that love, that life that they thought they wanted to build together. Now we could work on what does this mean, okay? So there are other things this particular person is capable of doing and is very good at, and one of them was photography. So I had a photography friend of mine who also I was coaching. I asked her to mentor, to have a little conversation about what worked and what didn't work, what you would do differently if you started your business today, lessons learned, to help this client kind of get a little kickstart. And also to realize, ladies, you don't always have to go to school. School is not the answer. If you have the talent, it's not always the answer. If you can do it, just do it, and then get your little classes along the way for the little brushing up that you need. So how does this help her being an actress? Well, she was involved in the theater. So she started being the photographer for the playbill. She started being the photographer for the headshots. She started being there all the time. And guess what? A month ago, she was in a starring role in one of the plays in her local neighborhood. And it is a unique play, and it has a potential of becoming a movie. It's pretty incredible. And she was offered that job. She did not audition for the job. All because she was taking the pictures. The director said, I'm looking for a woman between the ages of 30 and 40 who can play the lead role. This is my book. This is my play. I want to be sure I have the right person. My client said, well, I'm sure I know some people. And the director said, that would be you I'm looking for. Because she was there. I did tell her, we need to work on you being aware of the opportunities around you some more. But it's a true story. So when we talk about setting goals, and when we talk about being specific, when we talk about being a process, this is what I mean. Every single person came to me with, this is what I want to do, when in reality, there was something else that they needed to do, something else that they really had a goal for but didn't realize it. So when you start digging into it, you start to realize the first one did not have to deal with his own business. He got a sense of prestige. He got to do everything that he wanted to do while working for someone else and did not have the aggravation in his eyes of owning his own business. The second one wanted to run a studio? Of course not. She wanted to change things. She wanted to mold things. She wanted to be creative. That's not owning a studio. She is so happy with what she's doing now, and it fulfills all of the dreams that she has come up with to date. The next one was able to make some money, was able to do things that she was never able to do before, and now is looking at taking it to the next level, which is awesome. So it's one step, and the next step, and the next step, and then the very first one, my Wonder Woman child. Unbelievable to think that this woman, I tell her, I will walk down that red carpet with you. When do I buy my dress? And she said, now, because I'm going to be in the film that's going to be made for this play that I'm starring in. Who knew? Focus, belief, drive, a plan, a process, exposure so that you're there when the opportunity is available. These are all things that can occur for you. These are all things that can occur if you focus on the energy, if you focus on your intent, if you're clear about what it is that you want to do, if you're aligned with what it is that you want to do, if you know why you want to do what you want to do. It's all achievable. It's all out there. It's all doable. And I'd love to help you do it. Gail Kraft. Kraft bravery in your business. check me out, www.gailkraft.com.